Excuse me. Whoa, that's really hoppy. Hey everybody, I'm Sam Richardson, brewmaster and co-founder at Other Half Brewing Company, and we're going to talk today a little bit about the history of Other Half and about some of our anniversary beers. As you probably know, since our 10th anniversary, we were founded in January of 2014. Actually, it predates that by a few months. Our actual beginning date was in November of 2013. Desperate to brew some beer while we were waiting for National Grid to give us our meter, reached out to my former employer at Greenpoint Beerworks and made an agreement to brew some beer there. And then January 31st at about 8 p.m. was our first brew day. The meter landed that day and we decided to not wait. We fired up the brew house and brewed until 4 in the morning. Our first year of operation, we made much more of a mix of beers at the time, from IPAs, more saisons, but our primary goal in opening was to make IPA. That was the one thing in the market that we felt was really missing on the East Coast. So we started doing that and it really resonated with people. So we just kind of kept heading in that direction more and more. The end of 2014, early 2015 was the time that we really started to play more with New England IPA. Our original beers were a lot of West Coast IPA, which was the brewing tradition I came from prior to opening Other Half. It was kind of one of those rest is history moments, because I would say it's over 95% of our production now, New England IPA, and I don't see that stopping. Introduce you to our first Anniversary IPA, which is a West Coast IPA. It's a triple, 10%. It's hopped with Amarillo, Simcoe, Cascade, and Centennial. And this is actually, of our anniversary beers, the only one that was never canned. So this canned version, the label was created for it this year. But this is the original recipe brought back. It was a transition point for us. After this beer, we started leaning more into New England IPA, and also we started canning, which was probably the biggest step forward for us as a company. Tastes like a West Coast IPA. One thing that's probably a little different than our original batch is we select all these hops at this point. So I think we have a very pineapple forward Simcoe, which I pick up in this. Definitely pick up a little bit of the grapefruit from Amarillo, a little bit of like a floral pine Cascade note and Centennial note. So much more traditional, much cleaner, less esters than our current offerings. Very enjoyable. So early 2016 was our second anniversary. Our second anniversary offering was kind of the beginning of our full move into New England IPA. And also we started to showcase more New Zealand hops. This particular beer had Citra, Galaxy, and Waiheke and Kohatu from New Zealand in it. A somewhat early version of what we make now. It's not quite exactly what we make these days. It was the early iterations of developing into the New England IPAs we make today. But from our hops, I get a lot of these lychee notes from our Citra, some kind of almost pithy citrus notes and grapefruit, and some passion fruit as well. It's got a little more full body to it than the West Coast. Less clarity, nice creamy texture. Fourth anniversary. I'd say this was the beginning of us really settling into a style of our own. It's also a fan favorite. I feel like we're constantly called to make over and over, and we keep bringing it back just because the demand for it every year is so great. It's one of the reasons we started repeating anniversary beers alongside our new offerings. I'd call this one another half classic. So fourth anniversary had Citra, Galaxy, Eldorado, Enigma, Mosaic, and Citra Cryo, which was something we were starting to play with at that time. Kind of the beginning phases of using alternate hop products, which we've gone deep into over the years. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my favorite anniversary IPAs we make as well, so I'm with the crowds on this one. So I wanted to highlight our 6th anniversary, partly because it was the first anniversary beer that contained another new hop product, Incognito, which is a pourable hop extract, which I think has really added a lot of oomph to our IPAs over the years. I have a soft spot for this label because it predicted us having a pandemic, because we released this right before the world shut down, and it oddly has a nurse wearing a mask on it. There's no way I can remember all the hops in this because there's way too many, so I'm gonna read them off. But this one has Galaxy, Cashmere, Riwaka, Strata, Citra, Mosaic, and Sabro. And this also had Cryo in it, Cashmere, Citra, and Columbus. So there's a lot going on in this beer. I'd say this one was a lot more dank than some of our previous offerings, largely from the Columbus. Excuse me.
We'll do that one again, maybe.
Whoa, that's really hoppy. Whoa. This one's just like a hammer. It's so like hoppy compared to, it's like hard to even like. There's a lot of dankness, big hoppy character. I mean, to me, it's less defined fruit character and more of like a fruity overall profile with this really intensely dank back end for New England IPA. I think it works. It's not the most like fruity of all of our offerings in that category, but it is very hoppy. It's like one of the hoppiest ones I think we ever did. So if you like hops, this one is for you. 10th anniversary. I hope you love this label. Label is not in yet, coming. You guys will have to wait for that surprise. This IPA has 10 different hops, one for each year that we've been around. And I think it contains some of the classic hops that we've always used with what I think is the best in upcoming hop varieties currently. This one has Anchovy, which is oddly named hop, grown by Seagull Hop Ranch, named by the folks at Fast Fashion who sponsored it. But that gives off some pretty serious like candied watermelon notes to it. We used Citra, Superdelic, which is a new New Zealand hop, very high oil, kind of pleasant citrus character on that one. Motueka, a classic for us. Riwaka, classic. Nelson, also classic. And then we also added HPC 1019, which is an unnamed experimental. And this is a hop that gives off really big peach ring notes, like candied peach ring. Luminosa, newer variety out of Oregon that has a lot of soft fruit character to it. Nectaron, which we've been using pretty high amounts lately. Big peach notes to that one. And then Simcoe and Simcoe Cryo, which are classics for us, and Motueka Hop Keef, which is an extract form of Motueka from our friends at Freestyle Hops. Yeah, the goal with this one was to really have kind of a sweet, big citrus note to it, and these like big peachy stone fruit notes mixed in with some of that classic Citra lychee and pineapple from Simcoe, plus all those delicious New Zealand flavors. I mean, I feel like these are the hops and the beer I want to make for a 10th year anniversary. Now that we've hit 10 years, where are we going next? When I think about what Other Half is and what it's going to be, it's going to continue to be searching for new hops, new hop products, new techniques around brewing, and also just continuing to fine tune what we already do. Beyond quality and continuing to do what we already do best with hops, we are looking at adding NA products, specifically NA IPAs. We're working to get them to a point that we feel that they're on par with what we make for standard IPAs. THC seltzer, and continuing to grow our coffee line, Cloud Cover, and our wine offering, Annuel. In general, we're trying to keep pushing forward, offering more beverage options for everybody, and really doubling down on quality of our main offering, which is IPA. Thank you so much for listening to this and watching this. And I also want to thank everybody for the support over the last 10 years in helping us create Other Half and making it what it is today.